to Badger Beer Hour. Can you hear me? Okay.
All right.
Welcome to Badger Beer Hour. This is our first anniversary show, first live show. I am hearing an echo. Okay. Okay.
Live television.
Yeah,
That's live television for you.
Yes. Well, without further ado, let's get to the news.
Oh wow, we're good.
Chris, hello.
Hi, everybody.
Down in the corner, man. We'll get to news.
Bear with us, everybody.
Yeah. We got news, Chris.
All right. We do have news.
You said we were going to do this on the fly, so this is how we're doing it on the fly. This is loose. Did you guys hear that Hams and Blatz was going the way of the dodo bird? It's not a joke.
I did hear that.
Did you actually hear that?
I did hear that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not true.
What?
No.
I thought you put that on Twitter. Did you lie?
Okay. Let me tell a story. So Badger Beer Hour did a little bit of debunking on this one. So so this story appears to have come from a single published report on the website of a pretty small communities newspaper. I'm not really being more specific here because the story was taken down for obvious reasons and that it was predominantly false. That's obviously a little suspicious, and that it was just this one report out there in the world of that Hams was being discontinued, and I think Milwaukee Best was being discontinued by Molson Coors. I think this kind of struck a nerve because there have been shortages and out of stocks of Hams reported in some markets, which is obviously kind of troubling for a big brewer like Molson Coors, which makes Hams. But fear not, Hams fans. Looking at Johnny over here, there he is. Molson Coors says Hams and Milwaukee Best are not going anywhere. Some of the factors that they said that this report cited are true in that seltzers are kind of squeezing out legacy lagers, both from kind of a demand and a production standpoint. That there's less demand and there's less ability to produce these beers because of the seltzer boom. There's also shortages of aluminum cans, and some of the cardboard cartons have made packaging an issue. I have only recently heard about the cardboard issue. We know about cans going way back, but there's some some producers of cardboard that are having trouble meeting demand. And then there's been this long lingering effects of the disruption in production from for Molson Coors production and logistics. Because of that big winter storm in Texas and the cyber attack on Molson Coors late this winter. So all of this stuff kind of together, I think is still having an effect on some distributors' supplies. So this is obviously that gets people skittish if they think that they can't get their beer. So the same thing is probably happening with Blatz, which is a Pabst brand, but that's largely made at Molson Coors facilities for now, at least. Pabst Vice President John Kimes told me that all is well with Blatz. Quote, "It remains a relatively small but steady piece of the Pabst business." Very exciting for a mutual acquaintance of ours who's a big Blatz fan. And in more kind of directly Badger beer news, Blatz is going to be one of the Pabst brands in the next couple of years that's going to move its production to City Brewery in La Crosse, which of course is the former G. Heilemann Brewery that has the world's largest. It used to be the world's largest 6-pack of old style, but now is it just like City Lager or something?
It's like La Crosse Lager or something like that.
La Crosse. Yeah, nobody wants that. Okay. Speaking of G. Heilemann and La Crosse, check this out. More than 20 years ago, this is a little segue into a little bonus news story for you.
Ooh.
More than 20 years ago, a guy who lives about 5 miles from Appleton's airport planted a bunch of spruce trees in the shape of the old style logo, because he's that kind of guy, I guess. Today, the trees on Dave Erdman's property are more than 25 feet tall, and the logo is clearly visible to planes flying in and out of Appleton and in satellite photos. And Greg is going to show you guys.
We got that up.
The thing?
Yeah.
How about
Nice.
that? Look at that. Cool thing. Dave, what a guy. We love Dave.
How long has it been up?
20 years, something. Took to grow that. I mean, imagine when it was little and everybody's like, boy, that's a lame old style logo you got there.
That's a fun story.
It's fun.
You got to put the microphone in your mouth there, Greg.
I'm gonna post this out on my social media.
There you go.
That's a fun story. You should Chris, post it out on your social media. You should read it.
I'll do it again.
About
I'll do it again. Thanks for reading, Greg.
There's a big story about his wife and all that. It's great.
Before we go on to the next story, though, because we got so quickly into news, I just want to point out for everybody that's watching virtually, and we actually have a live audience here. We're at Working Draft in Madison. So, yeah.
Look at that. We have fans?
Yeah, we have.
Are you kidding me?
We have fans. They're real live fans. We paid them $25 at the door.
Yep.
That goes for.
That's an IOU. That's as good as cash.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. There are actually real people here. Thanks to Ryan at Working Draft here for opening up for us on a Monday.
We're going to talk to him later.
Yeah, we'll talk to him later. Yes. All right, we'll move on.
Yeah, okay.
So we don't need to talk about macro brew news anymore. We got some craft brew news, I'm assuming.
Oh, you know, buddy. You know
something from an Aqua? No?
It wouldn't be a Badger Beer Hour anniversary without referencing Minocqua in the news. But yeah, we're not gonna talk about Minocqua today.
Yeah,
they didn't pass muster.
Damn.
But our friends over at Third Space Brewing, they passed muster.
I like those guys.
So they're bringing back the Wisconsin IPA Fest next month at the brewery in Milwaukee's Menominee Valley. Sweet brewery. You should go check it out if you haven't. The format of this event has changed. This is the 5th year now, and it's kind of been a lot of different things. Obviously, last year it was kind of the virtual beers in a box kind of thing. This time they're going the unlimited sampling route, which I think is the first time that they've done that for this event. And they're expecting 50 Wisconsin brewers on hand pouring, like, I don't know, unlimited sampling sounds like something that sounds bad, but you know how the festival works, whatever. It's fine. Don't look at me like that. All right. I can see this happening. All right. So they're going to have each of those breweries is going to have about 3 to 4 beers and they're going to have 850 people ticketed. So there's going to be some non-IPA beers too, to kind of cleanse the palates between all your hops. The fest is Saturday, August 28th. Tickets are $49 right now. Early bird thing, $99 VIP, and you can get them at thirdspacebrewing.com. This is not a promotional. I know it kind of sounds like it, but Third Space does expect this event to sell out. So if you want to go, you should go.
Don't they name the best IPA in Wisconsin?
Yes. It's unclear exactly how they are going to do that, but in previous years there's been like a judging panel that I was actually part of once. It was really cool. We did the double blind tasting, taste and ranks and all that. It was very cool. I don't know if it's unclear if they're going to be able to do that this year, but there is always a like crowd or like crowds people's choice kind of selection, and that was the one last year was. People got it in the box and then they voted on it, and I don't remember. I didn't write it down. Shoot. Womp womp. But it was a pretty nice event. They had videos and programming around it. It wasn't just like, hey, here's some beers, go drink them.
And this is held at the brewery? It
is at the brewery, yep. So one other thing about Third Space that is pretty cool, they announced this morning actually that they are making some tweaks to their charitable giving program. So what they're doing is creating a new collaboration beer with different nonprofit each quarter. So the nonprofit will get 20% of all the sales on this. They have like a Friday night launch party for each beer. So they get 20% of all the sales from that night, and then 20% of the sales from the beer overall. So like, as long as it sells through. The first partner and which is launching this Friday. So if you're in Milwaukee and want to check that out, it's a pretty nice cause. Is Courage MKE, which is a great organization that supports LGBTQ youth in Milwaukee. That's hard to say. It's a they have like a I think it's the only one of its kind in the area. It's like a shelter for LGBTQ youth who are like kind of run out of their parents' home. So it's a fantastic organization, and the beer is a hoppy wheat ale fermented with Kvike yeast. Kvike, Ryan? Kvik? Okay.
Kvik.
I'm a writer, not a whatever this is. And I said the launch party is this Friday night. So boom, check it out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. So that's positive beer news, but unfortunately we have some not so positive news coming out of Milwaukee also this month.
Yeah. This one's a bummer. So for the past couple years, MobCraft beer in Milwaukee has put on its anniversary party right around this time of year. And the last couple of years, it's been called Weird Fest, which is an allusion to the weird beers that the brewery makes. Obviously, they kind of have that crowdsourced thing where that's kind of their thing, is making kind of crazy beers. This year, as part of the festivities, along some of the weird beers that they had on tap were. This one sounds like a good one for you, Greg. A sour stout aged in Scotch barrels. They had a zucchini bread wheat ale. I can maybe get down with that. And here's this is the capper, a cream of mushroom stout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a meal in a glass.
There you go.
Yeah.
But the reason this is in Badger Beer Hour News is that the food menu, which they kind of expanded from, they usually kind of have like pizzas and little snacky type things. They expanded to with some restaurant partners, expanded into like these like little pizzas with kind of unusual combinations, like creme brulee peach slices on a pesto Alfredo pizza base. I don't know.
Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Weird. And then they also had octopus spring rolls, which is, they called it weird, and social media kind of informed them that just because it's not your culture does not mean it's weird. Obviously, these are two foods that are widely consumed in Asia. I'm not sure if they're consumed as spring rolls, but Asia has a lot of people in it, so that's kind of a pretty broad brush. MobCraft apologized, saying that they've always embraced the weird label as a positive. Here's kind of a long quote. I just want to let their words speak for it. Our kitchen normally serves pizza, so the idea behind the Weird Fest menu was to offer something that a pizza kitchen would not normally offer. Calling any food weird was a serious misstep on our part. We are sorry. It was not our intention to hurt or offend any culture by labeling any food strange or bizarre. They also 86'd the octopus spring rolls from the menu entirely. So, Greg, you had mentioned that you had some thoughts on this one.
Yeah, there's such a fine line here, but I believe in this instance, as far as MobCraft goes, if you were looking at that article, they talk about a couple instances that MobCraft had before with labeling beers culturally, what's the word I'm looking for? Insensitive, right? But what happened was immediately, though, they have responded to the cause to move it back or to eliminate or change it. And I don't know, I just kind of feel that this is a tough area to navigate, and with all the different beers that we have and all the different kind of connotations and stuff, it's hard to navigate. I just like to see a brewery, if they make a mistake, to rectify it as fast as possible and to move on. And I think MobCraft has done that. Every time that it's happened, it's kind of problematic that it's happened a few times. But ultimately, I believe that if you can learn from these things and you can move on. And I don't feel any cynicism in their response. I actually feel that they're just trying to work through it. But this is, in my opinion, a reason to have a diverse workplace, because you can have people, on the process say, "Hey, that's not cool."
Right.
And unless you are a part of that culture or you're a part of that, you know, area that they're speaking of, it's kind of hard sometimes to see those insensitivities. So I give MobCraft credit for you know, addressing the issue, and I just hope that they're, you know, going forward they're just more, you know, they can do what they, you know, do what you can, but if you make a mistake, rectify it quick. So
Yes.
don't double down on it.
No,
Sure.
no.
Right.
So, and they've been through, again, this is their third time, you know, that I saw through an article. So yeah, that's what I want to say.
All right.
One of the things that I always say about MobCraft, and when it comes to these kinds of things, which you know, kind of sucks that there's this out there, like that there have been these things multiple, you know, is I think Henry and Andrew and the whole team there have really good intentions, but their model of kind of throwing names to whoever comes up with them, and recipes, and like, I mean, it's not the entirety of MobCraft, but it opens themselves up to it exposes themselves to things like this. This was not that. This was, you know, the
Right.
date grape thing, which is a couple years ago now.
Horrible.
Yeah, but that was what that was. And you know, they've got to be really careful. Like they're definitely on notice. And I think their previous issues with this have eliminated a lot of the kind of, the leash is very short for them for these, you know, for people who want to hold people accountable for this kind of thing. So,
And thus the pushback for this one felt a little bit harder than
It
even
may-
the
it may have been
previous was,
disproportionate.
and it's probably
It's not
because
really-
of the history.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Yeah. I don't feel the need to. We don't.
No.
Yeah.
Let's go on to something.
We're gonna.
less
Yeah,
controversial.
absolutely. The least controversial thing as of right now in the craft beer world, New Glarus.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Always a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple things here. First, the brewery is, well, first let's actually start with the Twitter. Guys, New Glarus is on Twitter now.
What?
Yeah. Like maybe this is just a thing for me because I'm on Twitter, and you guys are kind of on Twitter too. But
If
but you know, for forever, like you check into it, Untapped with a New Glarus beer, and it would tweet this like private fan account that was like,
Right.
and in the bio, the thing always said, I'm just holding it for New Glarus, and whenever they want it, they can have it. And apparently they wanted it because they now have it, and they're tweeting, you know, a couple times a week. So that's cool. That's cool. It's cool. If you're on Twitter, nobody cares about anybody else. Okay. But yeah, right. The other thing is that New Glarus is doing its annual beer recommendations survey thing through the end of this month. So you get a poll, like they have a poll on their website, and it puts up. It's kind of cool, like because it's the entire, like every beer they've ever brewed is up on that thing. And so it's like, yeah, I want like wild peach and very sour blackberry and like all these whales, you know, from days gone by. I'm sure that's going to be released as a thumbprint next year. Yeah, good thinking. Okay, but you get to pick 5 beers, and then and they obviously, this isn't like a binding referendum, obviously, but the brewery does use it as one of the data points to kind of determine what they're making the next year. So that's pretty cool. Did you guys vote?
No.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
on it right now.
Yeah.
Just
Nope.
do you don't like democracy or
Nope.
Okay.
I wanted to go through and punch in all the IPAs.
They
Break a
weren't.
day. Break a day in a landslide.
To be honest with you, I looked at it and they weren't offering a sticker that said "I voted."
Oh yeah, that's true.
I ain't got
They should
no
stick that on the
time
six-pack
for that if I
cartons.
don't get a sticker.
Well, I now I can address my my little grunt when you said the sour. I'm not into sour porters or stouts.
Yeah.
I just, that
Me neither.
whole profile is just not, the maltiness with the sour just doesn't do it for me.
No, same.
So that's why sour porter was left off my vote.
I had I don't know what I have. Kid Kolsch.
I'm actually looking at mine right here. Yeah.
I'm gonna look at your ballot. Is
the,
that all right?
The black
No,
IPA
you
is
can't
intriguing.
not vote and then just like cheat.
Chris, do you remember?
It's like cheating homework.
Chris, you remember Blacktop? The black
Yeah,
IPA?
I voted for that. Black IPA.
Wow.
Let's make it happen,
Really?
right?
I didn't even.
Ooh.
Wow.
We got-
Okay.
Oh yeah, we got fans. We got Black IPA fans. All right.
So
Yeah.
excellent. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
back
Great.
40.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's someone here. Man. Yeah. I never even Old English Porter. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't even know they did a porter. Smoke on the porter.
A lot of these are like thumbprints that do not come back very often. Yeah.
Right. And that's why I like they're giving us a chance to vote on them, even though they're probably not gonna. Who knows? Winter warmer.
Okay. On to the next item. Then?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be here all day.
Yeah, right.
Greg's just like, do. Oh, I like you
Right.
too.
Right.
I don't know. Do we have
Yearbook.
time for cease and desist?
Yeah,
news,
let's
or are we
do-
gonna,
let's do it.
yeah,
Let's
you
do
want to
it.
do a little of that?
I think we do.
All right. So we've got some of that. Yeah.
That's an impeccable. This is like
Hey,
you can feel the chemistry.
I went to school for broadcasting, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I went to school for journalism, so yeah, it's not me. And so
I'm not a
yeah.
writer.
So earlier this year, Youngblood Beer in Madison. Where'd it go? Oh, I can't. I need my script. I'm like, what's his name?
You want to borrow mine?
Ron Burgundy. There it is. Okay. So Youngblood released a Helles earlier this year called Shower Beer, BIER. So that's a little different. And now they just came out with it again. And it's called Bathtub Beer. And you might wonder, like, well, shower beer's kind of been a thing for a while, so it may not like surprise you that there's a brewery that has a trademark on that term. It is Champion Brewing in Charlottesville, Virginia, which called its Czech Pils Shower Beer with EER in 2014. So they've got a little bit of a head start there. And this is a brewery that is kind of clearly interested in protecting this intellectual property. In 2017, they post. This is one of my favorite things about this story. They published this blog post about a Swedish brewery using the term shower beer and noting that it does not infringe on their mark because U.S. law does not cover names internationally. I do not know what the point of that would be, but it was instructive in kind of understanding how this brewery thinks about this term and why Youngblood's Helles is now called bathtub beer. I guess that IEEE doesn't really play in the whole.
Yeah, probably not in the U.S.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think people are.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
So that's the deal with bathtub beer.
Bathtub
I know you
beer.
were all wondering about that.
Yeah.
What 4,000 brew or what is it? 6,000 breweries. Each brewery has what 20 beers
20.
on tap. I mean,
Oh yeah, at a time. Yeah, sure.
This name thing. Yeah,
It's tough. It's tough. You probably want to stay away from the really easy ones like shower beer.
Yeah. All right, that's all that Chris has, but actually Greg's got something for this month, right?
The little
We
internal
got a little-
Badger Beer Hour
little-
news.
Little introduction.
I
Yeah.
thought you were doing that.
Oh,
Guys, we're a well-oiled machine over here. This
Right.
is-
I can do it. You want me to do it? I can do it.
Yeah.
So those of you that have watched Badger Beer Hour for a little while probably know that I'm part of a group called Taproom Travelers, as well as the Badger Beer Hour and probably other beer groups or whatever. So we're going to add a fourth because why you can't have enough beer guys, right? You got right.
Well, the first year was pretty trying and tough and troubling.
There you go. Yeah.
With just the
Uh-huh.
three of us.
Yep.
So we think that maybe.
Well, considering that you
It's
and
like,
I
you know,
haven't
if
met
you-
each
if
other
the-
till today, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Us three have never been together.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to add, one more's never a bad thing. So we're introducing Andy. For those of you that have watched Taproom Travelers
There he is.
before, you've
Look at that.
probably
Hey,
seen
everybody.
Andy.
I was
He,
back in the control room back there, so
yeah.
I'm not sure what my audio levels
Welcome,
look like.
welcome, Andy.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Great
Andy
point.
actually lives here in Madison too, along with Greg,
Mhm.
and they're going to be our Madison bureau.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yay!
Welcome, Andy.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go back to the control room because I'm sure our audio is just all over the place right now. But yeah, happy
You
to
mean
be here.
they're
and-
not supposed to talk like this?
No, you're not.
No. Chris is doing all right.
Welcome, Andy.
He's doing all
Yes,
right.
Andy, welcome and thank you.
Have you used a mic before today, or is this the first? I'm just curious. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm just curious.
I don't know. I think this is so cool. I feel like I'm on TV.
You are kind of.
Well,
I mean,
know, but we
we are live.
I said like, hey, I'm Aaron Andrews.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that? I don't know. Whatever.
I can see the resemblance.
So no, yeah, I no, probably not.
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
you're
whatever.
doing all right.
Burn me, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
And now it's time for our interview.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Getting into some chaos here. All right. We're very pleased to welcome to Badger Beer Hour Jason Walters.
Yep.
The Big Cheese. I don't know if you can see that on the.
That's
on
what my
the-
shirt
on the
says.
He is the. Yeah. Look at that. How much did you pay them? You did-
$26.
Oh,
Nice. So
Nice.
He bit his-
Jason is the chairman of the Great Taste of the Midwest, which I think if anybody is watching this and doesn't know what the Great Taste of the Midwest is, I think you're just on the wrong stream. Like, just hit the channel button and go up to like whatever that is that you're trying to watch. I thank you for joining us.
well, thanks for having me. I know we tried to connect earlier, and my Wednesdays are pretty busy with Great Taste planning. So this Monday worked out pretty great.
It's pretty excellent. Yeah, I mean, and I think we were looking at the big announcement that you guys had with like the big update was that in May?
Yeah, or late April, possibly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we would have been lining up for the May stream. So, but this, I think we were saying this earlier that now we're actually going to have some stuff to say.
Yeah, exactly. I think more information is definitely available. We're a lot farther along in the planning, so I can't tell you. We don't know that yet, or
Right.
that's still under wraps. We can't share that publicly.
I'm going to be like, wait
so
a second. Get some real Barbara Walters shit here. Okay.
you're not going to make me cry, are you?
No,
Okay.
never. I might make myself cry though. Okay, so kind of bring us up to speed with what's kind of already been said about the 2021 taste. What the festival is going to look like this year.
Sure. Just obviously, safety concerns are number one on our mind. Especially when we were making those decisions, in the late April timeframe. So we made that decision to do a half capacity event, which is a tough decision. It was evolving every week. Every discussion that we had, thinking about 3,000 people or 7,000 people, or let's just go for it and do 10,000 people. Like, it seemed like every day or every week after those discussions, new information came to light.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a constantly evolving conversation, moving targets for the last year and a half,
Sure.
but especially during that time frame, February, March, April was really hard to nail down. But we wanted, out of an abundance of caution, we felt really comfortable doing a half capacity event at 5,000 people, just to give people some more space, spread them out a little bit. And the decision we made at the time, I stand by that. Obviously things are continuing to evolve, mostly positive, but there are still some negatives coming out in the news too. So I think we found a good level for the event this year.
And one thing I want to clarify: when you say 10,000, the normal
Right.
taste is 10,000 people, right?
Correct.
So that's including volunteers and
Staff,
brewery
brewery
staff.
staff, vendors, musicians, media. So right, exactly. So in park capacity in a normal year is 10,000, and we're doing 5,000 this year.
Okay. How does that translate to like how many tickets? Is that
I think we sold 3,000 tickets through the mail order lottery, which is about on par, like relatively
kind of
speaking,
Yeah.
where we would be at on a normal year. But that was the big difference this year is we're so used to, we're a festival of traditions, and having in-person ticket sales has been a really big thing for us for a long time, and so it was tough to make that decision, not but again, easy to not have people gathering in 7 locations around the Madison area,
especially
lined up
back in May,
potentially overnight to buy tickets. So we delayed that ticket sales to June and went with the 100% mail order lottery. That's always been about half of our ticket sales anyway is through that mail order lottery. So it's a system that we're really comfortable with, that we know really well, that we know we can do it efficiently and fairly. And so we just went 100% to that lottery.
Okay. What were some of the things that MHTG was looking at to kind of make this decision? You said like the situation is evolving. What were some of those things that were evolving?
Sure. I mean, we looked at public health, Madison, Dane County, the website, following the state guidances very closely. We were looking at infection rates in neighboring states. We have a lot of people come from Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Louis. Rockford is surprisingly well represented at the Great Taste. Michigan, people travel. And so we it's not just putting on a Madison festival in Madison. We're bringing people from many, many states. We're bringing brewers from a lot of states, and they're going back home. And so bringing the public in, all milling around in a park, enjoying beers together, and then going back home. That's a potentially scary situation. And so we wanted to be really mindful of that, to make sure that we could look at neighboring states and cities to see where they were with their infection rates, vaccinations when those started happening, just to make it as safe as possible.
So
we're also looking at other festivals. I mean, we see a month before that, Great American Beer Festival cancels,
right? And
I'm like, oh man, so then my brain is racing at night, it's keeping me up at night, literally. If they're canceling and other festival big music festivals are canceling, but then Summerfest moved to September from July. So I'm thinking, okay, well, September is close to August, like they're kicking it out of the summer, they're going late summer, early fall. So those were the kinds of things that were on our mind that, we had the benefit of being, second Saturday in August. So it's later in the summer, and we were hoping that would help us in those cases. And I think it will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, obviously one of the biggest advantages of the Great Taste over GABF or, some of these other events that have been canceled is it's outside. And
absolutely.
How does, that's obviously something that plays in.
It's huge. And we had looked at other dates, we had looked at other parks, to see what was available in September, October, to see if we could do something like that. Mm-hmm. Those options weren't good ones, to be honest. And so we wanted to keep it in our home spot, our home park, our home date, second Saturday in August, keep with those traditions. We kind of own that weekend and that park at that time. So we were happy to be able to make that decision and feel safe and confident in making that decision too. So we're really excited to be still at Olin Park this year. Yeah.
One of the things that you've talked about a lot, well, I don't know, it's only been a couple of statements that have been put out, but one of the things that seems to be a clear emphasis in those statements is preserving the experience of a really high level beer festival. And I think one of the things, there's a lot of that, inherent in the Great Taste, but I think one of them is the breweries that are there.
Absolutely.
And I assume that it's basically the same deal. Half the breweries.
It is. And that was something that it was important to us, that I didn't want to put on what I would consider a lesser version of the Great Taste. It might be smaller than we're used to, but we still wanted to represent, the states, the whole Midwest. We still wanted to bring people in at breweries and patrons from where we normally do. We still want to have those super crazy unicorn beers, special release things, cellared, 4-year-old, bourbon barrel barley wines. We want to have crazy weird sour stuff that Greg would maybe not like. We want to have, we still want to include all all those beers, the styles, the special releases that you're looking for when you come to the Great Taste, we'll still have all of that. But we are doing, so it'll be, normally it's about 200 breweries and we're at 100 breweries this year. So with the reduced capacity in the park, we're also reducing the breweries. So we're going to spread out a little bit more. The footprint will look very much the same. We're just going to spread out the breweries a little bit.
Which will be nice.
Yeah, I think it will.
I mean,
I think
from the
for those
user
fortunate who
experience,
have tickets who will be there, I think from a user experience, I think that will be really nice. Obviously, you know, we do have a lot of folks who didn't get tickets this year because of that reduced capacity. And sorry to all of you at home if you didn't get tickets. We'll see you next year, okay? But yeah, we wanted to preserve that, you know, that same energy, the same special beers, the same, you know, breweries that you know and love will be there. The real ale tent was a casualty this year of, I know, and we know that there is a fan base out there. Greg's groaning loudly. I know, and that was a tough decision. So that was one of the things that we talked about early on. You know, from a financial standpoint, from just a logistics standpoint, the way that those beers are served would be a lot harder, if not impossible, to do in that safe manner that we're planning on the rest of the serving in the festival.
Right, because they take your glass away.
A lot of glassware handling there. And so, you know, we're hopeful that Real Ale or some other fun zone will return next year in that place. So. All right. I don't know if it'll be called the Fun Zone, but it'll be a fun zone of beer, yeah, in that area. But yeah, you're right, Craig. I mean, the Real Ale tent has been very popular. There are folks who camp out there all day, and so they'll be
stop.
Yep. So this year we're going to give them a chance to explore the rest of the park and see what other beers and locations of the park we have to offer.
That's a good spin on that.
There you go.
So one of the things that I think really plugs directly into that is like, okay, you can have 100 breweries, and that's still obviously a ton. And I don't know, when was the last time the Great Taste was at 100 breweries? It wasn't all that long ago, right? Maybe 10 years.
Oh, it's got to be longer than that. I would say probably 15 years ago. Okay. And that's one of the things that we talked about. You know, we've run a festival with 3,000 people. We've run a festival with 5,000 people, and it's been a while. But we knew that we could do those things. Obviously, it's turned into a much larger operation, a much more popular operation than back in those days. But we knew it could be done, and so we were confident that we could scale down, you know, the festival that we have now and scale things down. Not everything's scaled proportionally, but we could scale things down, still have a successful event, you know, still, you know, not lose money on the project, and still host a festival that we were desperately wanted to bring back.
Yeah, right.
2 years off sounded it sounded really bad. Yeah.
Right. How do you determine who makes the cut?
That's tough. They're all our friends. You know, we have relationships with so many of our brewers that come to visit. But we also, you know, we dance with who brung us. So we, you know, again, with the tradition, you know, we value, you know, breweries who have been with us a long time. So we made a cutoff point at 25 years. So breweries that have been with us for 25 years or longer were grandfathered in. So they were automatically allowed into the festival. And that was about 45 breweries.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you can see where the dilemma is, right? Because if we go down to 20 years, it was like 80 breweries. So, and you know, and having kind of the same, you know, makeup or automatically getting in would have been a hard sell for those folks who have been in, you know, less times or haven't been at all. So we had that 45 locked in. Something we've implemented a few years ago is our rookie involvement, that it's really important to us to keep things fresh. You know, there are so many breweries, you know, new breweries coming in, or who hadn't signed up before, or who have been on the wait list for a while. We don't want them being on a wait list for 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 years. You know, we want them to get in. So we dedicated, you know, 10% of our pool. The last few years have been about 15%, but we did a 10% pool on rookies who had never attended before for this year.
Okay.
Yep. So, we literally pulled names out of a hat in my dining room and selected those rookie breweries. So we locked in those 10, and then with the remaining part, in years past, we've done sort of a weighted lottery where we can, if you've been with us for a while, you get more chances, in that lottery. Okay. And this year, that just seemed like we were going to be loading, those veterans way too heavy. So we just did a straight, one brewery name, one ball in the hopper, essentially, in the lottery. And so everybody had a fair chance for that remainder of the breweries.
I don't know what the numbers are on some of these. I don't know. Like, I think about my Great Taste experience over the years. There's a lot of the same breweries that pop up as kind of like, oh, did you get to Central Waters?
Sure.
Did you get to Three Floyds?
Yep.
Did you get to Top and Goliath?
Yep.
New Glarus?
Yep.
Like, these are, I mean, obviously, I think New Glarus, I'm sure, is 25 years, but some of these are probably not. So, I mean, I can't imagine a Great Taste without Central Waters there.
Right.
How, like, so, but
right.
That I mean,
yeah.
I guess I'm saying, like, I think that there's a tension between that curating that great experience and being fair, really. I mean,
and that's what was really hard, is that because
leaving that to chance too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been really fortunate that the brewers, like our contacts at the brewers and our contacts at the breweries have been overwhelmingly understanding and supportive of the way that we've done the lottery this year and in the years past too. But they understand that this is obviously a different year. So, for the most part, almost everybody said, we understand why you're doing it. We really hope we get in, but if we don't, we understand. And that's been very accurate so far. We've gotten that feedback. We're not hearing sour grapes. We're not hearing grumbling, which is a big load off my mind and, our brewer liaisons, because they're the ones dealing with them, first name basis, handshake and a hug when they get to the park. And so, there were definitely some hard conversations. Like, when we're looking at the list, I'm thinking, like, this brewery's not on there. This brewery's not coming. This brewery's not coming. And, that's tough. But then you look at the list of breweries that are coming and you're thinking, okay, yeah, we've got them. So,
I mean, every year it's too much.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
It's always like, I can't make it.
You're still not going to hit all 100.
Yeah,
so,
that's
right.
That's
not a problem.
Yeah.
But maybe 2 or 3 or 5 of the places that you normally go to aren't there, but 26 of the places that you haven't gone to will be there. So, and I think with mixing in the rookies too, they're always marked really well, so you can go say hi to the new guys, and try something new. So, that's a big part of what I think a craft beer festival should be. Is, you want to go to your old favorites and see either what new or what old they've got there. Mm-hmm. But it's also fun to see the new places.
Yeah. I think you kind of alluded to this in the Real Ale conversation, but what are some of the things that are going to be different this year? I mean, not there, but like I imagine the line system. You said that the breweries are going to be more spread out within the same kind of layout. Is there going to be like some changes in the point of, that I'll have gate. This kind of contact?
You mean the gate or at the line to get beer?
Both, yes. I was thinking of the lines to get beer.
Yeah. Well, we'll be staggering between the breweries, so you won't be butted up against like the brewery next to you. We're going to leave, a space in between. So the lines can kind of spread out that way. I think we've all gotten pretty good at standing in line 6 feet behind the person in front of you. So keep practicing that. Practice that on August 14th. And, we'll have signs up and, some general reminders to give people some breathing room.
Will it still be handing your glass over to the?
We're planning on doing a card where you would drop your glass and they'll be filling it for you, with a pitcher, so there won't be glassware handling. Okay. Just to take out that handling point. Brewery staff are handling hundreds or thousands of glasses from many people who have been putting that to their mouth and in their hands all day long. We want their safety to be in mind too. So right. So
thinking about
yeah.
that
So we're gonna do a no contact beer delivery system with pitchers, going old school with pitchers, and the breweries will have pitchers for all their beers that they're offering. You'll still get everything that they've got behind the taps.
Mm-hmm. And are there going to be caps on the brewery staff that come to? Are they kind of limiting the crews that they're bringing?
Yeah, we have reduced that number too, because we want more patrons in the park too.
Yeah.
But less brewery staff will be there. That'll let more patrons into the park, so that there can be more public people having fun.
Is there any kind of wiggle room for, like, the things that you said that you're looking at for making these decisions? If those things are looking better in the coming weeks, could there be another batch of tickets released, or?
No, we're not going to do that.
Okay.
This ball's rolling. Trains leaving the station here, so. Yeah, I mean, to go back and sell tickets now, especially because we did it through mail order, to go back and do a second wave would be logistically difficult. Even though we have information on people that we turned away this year, but that would be really hard to pull together, and everything else that we're lining up with, security, with the number of breweries, with all the budgetary concerns too are all based on this capacity. So to add more now would be really challenging.
Okay. We've talked a lot about nuts and bolts and big picture things, but like it's got to feel pretty good to be this close after essentially 2 years of planning. Obviously, not last year, didn't happen, virtual, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Yep. But being this close to having the taste again.
It does feel good. We actually had our first in-person planning meeting last Wednesday. Some of those folks are behind me here tonight. It felt so good to see faces in person, and to be, projecting my voice in a park shelter during a thunderstorm. To
nice.
To the staff who put on the festival, and we're getting feedback, and we're answering questions that someone else has for that guy about his job, or she's got questions about someone else's job. We could really sort that stuff out a lot better than we could have on a Zoom call, or by 18 bazillion emails. So it was really great. I think for a lot of us, it felt really good for that crew to be together, to be talking and planning for the great taste, to be answering those questions, to do like on the fly troubleshooting, to get some of those questions answered. And I'll talk to you after the meeting, like making those contacts, like jotting down follow-up questions and that kind of thing. So that honestly made it feel very real. Mm-hmm. Like it's really happening. I know, the tickets are already sold, and it's moving, but it felt very real and great to get together with the staff again.
I have to imagine that for the 3,000 patrons who are going to be in the park, that this will probably be the best great taste, because they're going to be stoked. Everything that's built up to it. I mean, a little bit more room a little bit more elbow room. Everything that we've been through for the last year and a half, and I think it is going to be pretty special.
I think so too. I think the energy will be really high. Little note for remember people to hydrate. So don't forget to hydrate. But
rinse I think that glass, drink that rinse water.
Yep. We've got water stationed all over the park. But yeah, I think there will be a lot of energy, even if there are, a reduced number of people in the park. That energy is going to be pretty amped, because this is 2 years of pent up beer festival ready to come out for a lot of folks. And we're excited to host people. We're excited to see the brewers come back. They're really excited to be back in the park. We love Olin Park. We treat it like our our manicured lawn with those beautiful oak trees and the lake shore and the view, the downtown skyline and the Capitol. We're incredibly fortunate to have that park. Out of all the great parks in Madison, we're so lucky to be in that park. It's part of our heart and soul of that festival, and we are really excited to have people coming back.
We're excited to be there. Jason, thank you so much for coming in and talking about all things
Absolutely.
Great Taste.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Can I get 2 questions here?
Oh yeah, geez, I didn't want to monopolize everything. It's
no,
7:53 though,
well,
so.
Well, I mean, you're the journalist here, and I'm just the opiner. Jason, two-part question. Number one, are you guys still looking for volunteers? And part number 2 is I want you to speak to a little bit of the I felt it more this year than I felt it any year, which is the fraud kind of angle where people are trying to sell or buy, or people are trying to sell fake Great Taste tickets. Or there's something going on with that?
We are not looking for more volunteers this year. We're well staffed, and I can't really say much about fraudulent tickets. We really take a hands-off approach to the secondary ticket market. We don't facilitate that at all. We don't have a meet here if you're buying and selling tickets at the park. We are completely hands-off with that.
Well, I just want you to say, just to make sure everybody knows that the only way that you could get a ticket is through the lottery.
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
And they are.
'Cause there was other stuff going around.
Oh yeah, no, it's only through the mail order lottery. It's a DeBoss ticket with individual numbers, and they're unique every year. So we always change the tickets a little bit to make them unique for each year, not just the date, but other factors as well. But yeah, we really stay out of the secondary market. And yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much,
Thank you
Jason.
very much. Round of applause for Jason. He's on it. Greg's on it.
I forgot about the Great Taste.
Go ahead, mention
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I neglected to bring along a little bit of information on the Great Taste. So Great Taste Eve, obviously, I got to keep that right here. Great Taste Eve is the Friday before the festival, and obviously there's most years there are events everywhere with tap takeovers and pre-events, lots of good stuff going on. There are 2 that I'm going to mention here that are kind of note. One is Carbon 4 is hosting a pre-party on Great Taste Eve, 21 different breweries, and they're kind of focusing on breweries that didn't get into the actual fest. So to get in to sell your to go to Olin Park and be a part of the Great Taste, you actually have to get a license to sell beer in Wisconsin and all this stuff. So a lot of breweries went through that this year and ended up not being able to do it. So this is going to be an opportunity for them to connect with people in Madison and give people in Madison who don't have a ticket a chance to show up and have some cool Midwestern beer. There'll be food trucks, live music. It's going to be from 2 to 8 p.m. on Friday, August 13th. That sounds like a lot of official information, but this is not a real announcement. The more details will become available later this week through Carbon 4. And then Funk Factory is also hosting its big Taste Eve event as well. They always have a big gathering of a bunch of different cool breweries. And they're doing that this year also with some breweries that are not going to be at the festival. So you can check out Funk Factory as well.
Are both those breweries at the fest this year? Do we know?
I do not know.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if they were just hosting them
I
because they were part of the group that didn't make it, or
Yeah.
they're just putting their hearts out for the people.
I'm not sure. I kind of suspect maybe the former that they are not in, but certainly the latter is a factor that they just want to have this as to kind of build up the hype around the event and really give people a chance. I mean, it's always a tough ticket, and it's the toughest ticket ever this year. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and people call around here Christmas Eve of
Beer Christmas.
beer.
Yeah.
Yep, beer
Definitely.
Christmas is the night before the Great Taste. Yep.
So anyway, I think you already played the beer. Play it again.
Because we are all over the place tonight. So I think it's damn good.
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
So what do we got, Greg?
We have Working Draft. We have Working Draft up but not out. Belgian style IPA.
Belgian IPA.
7%. Just released, I believe, last Wednesday, so it should be fresh.
Super fresh.
Our new castmate here is supposed to join us.
Hand him the microphone. He can just do it over there. You can be a disembodied voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. There we go. I've seen the Belgian IPA become more popular in recent, I would say, years or months. What do you guys think about that one, first of all?
I would say I like this better than a regular IPA.
The ringing endorsement from Landon. Yeah, I think Belgian IPAs were pretty hot for a while. Maybe the mid-teens, something like that. And have kind of fallen off, and I think they're having a little bit of a renaissance. It's interesting. There's Youngblood just up the road here has a Belgian IPA on tap as well. They
Really?
used Zaka in theirs, and it was quite good. I like this quite a bit.
I got one for you, Lynn.
Yeah.
I got one for you, the car.
The
Yeah.
Youngblood one.
Thanks, man.
Youngblood.
I appreciate it.
Yes. So you can compare this one to that one because that's what we've been doing.
It's got a nice. The yeast character is. That's what makes a Belgian IPA for the most part is that yeast strain. So you get a little bit of esters and some phenols from that. I don't know. I kind of a bubblegum note in this one, I think.
A little bit. What do you think, Andy?
I like it. I was going to say, as someone who's drank with you a little bit more often than other people, you saying that you actually like it is a pretty ringing endorsement of an IPA.
Yeah. For those that don't know my distaste for IPAs, that's if it's better than other IPAs, that means I really like it. Yeah.
But let's make it clear here. You're more of a what kind of fella?
Darker, malty, malt forward.
Dark beer,
Yeah.
smoked beer.
But you're down with.
I like a good pilsner.
I was gonna say you're
Yeah.
down with a good pilsner.
I love
you
pilsner.
just
Yeah,
stole
you
that
bet.
thunder from me. Right.
Yeah.
One of your favorite breweries from your area. We'll keep that there. You love their pilsner.
Ooh, sexy hops, Nelson Sauvin and South African Queen.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
that's a pretty exotic. To me the kind of the benchmark Belgian IPA is obviously not Belgian, but here in Wisconsin is Bedlam from Ale Asylum.
Yeah.
And that's a beer that's pretty old at this point. And they brought that back. I think last year was or a couple years ago, maybe the first time in a while, and it was great. It's Citra, kind of, and to me that is kind of the benchmark for, or the baseline for the tasting of this kind of style. This is a very different hop profile, and I dig it.
Yeah.
It's different. The Youngblood one uses a Zaka, which is different. Again, it's the hops obviously take these beers in very different directions. So,
And then having had theirs recently as well, it's a little bit hazier than this one.
yes, definitely. Yeah,
This is
fun stuff.
yeah.
The rise of the Belgian IPA. For me, it's nice because it kind of balances all the hazy and
Juicy.
juicy milkshake ones that at this point are still kind of dominating the IPAs. I like to see where we are in a couple months. I kind of think once we get more out there, I'm hoping to see the hazies die off a little bit. I like them, don't get me wrong, but there's just too many of them out there.
It's become clearly the dominant form of the style.
But Belgium's-
Although on the board behind us, hazy, double hazy, West Coast, Belgian, all IPAs. So
We're still living in an IPA world.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is a IPA. No, I mean, certainly they're balanced, and I don't know. Ryan, do you want to come in and talk about that?
I mean, even yeah. Give Ryan a hand.
Look at that. Look at that
Wow,
segue.
okay.
Look
Okay.
at that segue.
So we're actually doing we're kind of double interview ish today.
I will hand you this microphone as well.
It's always Badger Beer Hour ish. I think we've been on.
So we've got our
once.
first repeat guest on Badger Beer Hour. That's Ryan Brown,
Great.
co-owner
Yeah.
of Working Draft, where we are right now. Well, I didn't want to give you like too much credit and say owner. And then all the other guys would be like, "Hey,
yeah,
Jeff Lever here."
that's right.
I mean, 6 IPAs, 3 hazy, 2 not. What's the what's the calculus there other than half? Not
Right.
hazy.
Yeah. I mean, hazies, that's what people like. That's what they want to drink. We like them too. And, we try to layer in the profiles of, what the hazies provide.
Mhm.
So, try not to do one note hazies. I think you can get a lot of homogenous flavors. When you start talking about hazy IPAs, you get a lot of that hop burn. We try to round out our portfolio so every hazy kind of strikes a different note, right? So Pulp Culture is our best-selling hazy. It's a great balance between a East Coast, New England East Coast style hazy, but also you got some West Coast influence in there. It's got some dankness in there from the hop blend, a little bit more body, but then we got all the way to a double hazy collab with Pipeworks out of Chicago. That's just crazy dank, 9%. Double hazy. Yeah. We were actually shooting for a triple to quite get the gravity we wanted.
hazy.
Yeah. But
Attenuated, maybe.
that's what happens. You're beholden to the yeast sometimes.
But
so.
I mean, certainly Working Draft is not just IPAs and hazies. We're drinking I think a bunch of folks in the
a lot of ESPs
tonight are drinking.
getting poured. Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All 3.
Yeah, and that's one of our bartenders' recipes. Part of our crew brew series. It's a one barrel batch, and we like to do that. So he got to brew whatever he wanted with our head brewer Clint.
Crew brew.
That's right. It's pretty great. So and Craig was asking. I brought another beer over for us. And this is actually a American Pilsner. Landon too.
American Pilsner.
Unfiltered, right out of the tank here. So this is our
Right.
Who's in Oz?
Yeah.
Beer people know that.
Mutiny.
Wait. It's also naturally carbonated. So there. Oh, I know. Yeah. Right.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Spamming all the words. That make
That's
everybody-
right. Yes.
Your brewmaster's gonna show up the next morning, and half of it's gonna be gone, and he's gonna want to know what you were doing last night, Ryan.
Worth it. Anything for Badger Beer Hour, right? So actually, this beer is it's a collaboration with Fair State out of the Twin Cities, and known for their lagers. Do an amazing pilsner you can get in a lot of places. Thankfully, here in Madison. And so it's a lot of Mountain Hood hops, and it's just it's a real nice beer, even though it'll get filtered eventually. It'll be crystal clear, and then we why
It's so good right now.
I know, right? We plan to pour it Great Taste Eve, and we have some custom glassware coming, and we're gonna do it in the kind of slow pour style. It's kind of been made famous by Bierstadt out in Denver. And so you get that beautiful muffin top of protein on top. It takes 5 minutes to get your beer. So we always recommend ordering another beer while you wait.
worth it.
That's smart.
So worth
we'll
it.
have our Helles on.
units.
So, great, just word of the wise, great order is order a Helles and the Pilsner.
Yeah.
And you drink the Helles while the Pilsner's going, Pilsner's settling. So
Boy, there's
way.
another slow pour is another
Wow.
yeah.
O-Face beer can.
That's for sure.
Slow pour, unfiltered American.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Fair state.
I'm hitting all the marks here. Just clear that browser history later, Chris. All right.
And the reason, well, I mean, this was brewed as a Great Taste collab.
Yeah.
But
the circumstance that Jason spoke to, it just don't allow for us to be in this year, Fair State. But we get it. I mean, that's how it goes. It's a lottery system. We know that. We'll still have people here.
You don't want to talk shit? He's right over there. He's still here. Can we say that? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now the censors are going to shut us
honestly,
down.
I think you put it perfectly. Like, I think everybody in the industry gets it, especially this year.
Yeah.
And it is an amazing festival. It's the best beer festival in the country. You speak to a lot of brewers. There's so many reasons why it makes it one of the best for guests and for breweries. Obviously we'd love to be there, but we understand. And so we're still celebrating. We'll still be pouring, a special beer on the eve. I'm sure we'll get plenty of people out here on Saturday after the fest. In whatever state they arrive. But
I'm guessing that you'll have a little bit of beer of a little bit of Great Taste traffic with this slow pour pilsner as a special
sure
special event. So
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
and what a beer.
Oh yeah,
it's really nice.
I'm a big fan of it for sure.
And last we talked was April, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
And things have a lot has changed. Here we are in the brewery.
That's right.
Do you talk about how you got here?
Yeah. I mean, just like everything in COVID, it's week by week, and we were able to open a patio finally this year. Got that going, and then slowly opened up doors when the the orders in Dane County expired, and still don't have seating around the bar here. In part, as I was saying earlier, we were a storage facility for a year because we didn't have any space, and
right.
We don't know where to put all this stuff. Sometimes we got barrels sitting here at the corner of the bar, like they're like one of our best customers here.
I thought that was like decor.
No, those are filled. So we're just really grateful for even being open and the support that we had in all of our to-go sales and cans, and people supporting that major pivot for us as a business where we did 85-90% of our beer in pints over the bar, and that went to zero overnight. And we had so much support when we moved to canning, continue to have support as people come back out. And, it was all driven just by what's the safest for our guests, what's the safest for our team, what's the safest for our community. And so, we're just trying to be, listen to the experts, listen to the Department of Health, and make those decisions based on what they're recommending for us. So, but I'll tell you what, having people in here though, it was a main line that I needed after long downtime. I think a lot of us on the team were like, why are we doing this whole time? And those first hour that people came back in here, it was like, that's right. That's why we do this. Yeah. That's why we did the grind. Energy. Yeah. The energy.
You can't replace it.
Oh yeah. Clint's beer plus people, is just that's something you can't shake.
Yeah. It's so rad. I mean, like I just think about my first return to a place or like a brewery or a bar or whatever, and back in that social setting, and then had to have that be the business that's the whole reason that you guys are here.
Right.
That first.
And just to have beer on tap again. I mean, it's great out of a crowler, but it's nothing compared to what it is on tap.
Man, and you said it, we got a lot of comments. It's just like, again, people buying our cans all through pandemic, buying crowlers, and they come in for it on draft. Even pulp culture, which people have had a ton, and it's just like, oh, there it is. I mean, there's a reason beer on draft. It's just it's high quality stuff. And you're drinking the experience. You're in here, you got the camaraderie. I mean, there's a lot that you're also consuming when you're drinking a beer on draft.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have to give you guys props. I don't know if anybody else can speak to this, but your system during the middle of COVID was one of the best ones that I've seen. And by meaning that, like, I was able to go to your website and figure out the whole process. I didn't have to dig in. I didn't have to say, do they have curbside? I didn't have to call you. You just had flat. I don't know if anybody saw it or it was involved. Flat instructions. It was just boom, 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 boom. And like, in my opinion, seeing how a lot of people responded to the pandemic, people needed direct instructions. And this is how you follow. And if not, hit the road.
Sure.
And you guys presented that in a way that was amazing. My significant other did most of my beer shopping during this time. So, she was out. I was never out. So like, it was just easy for her to be out and do it.
Yeah.
But I was not going to send her to a place that was questionable or like we didn't know how the process goes. So I was like, oh yeah, I want something from Working Draft. So she gets on the website and she's like, oh yeah, when do you need it? They look great. This looks great. And so I just want to give you guys props because not every situation was that way. And I kind of wanted it to be that way because I kind of wanted to feel safe going to every brewery that I possibly can so that I could support every brewery that I like. But it wasn't possible. So then, we had a conversation. It was just like, we will, go to the places that make it feel most comfortable. And you guys are one. And it also turned into this being the first place that I went to after the pandemic. So kudos to that. And I just wanted to,
thank you.
You can't really, there's nothing you can do it again. And I don't know, those brewers that didn't get it, in my opinion, I don't know, I'll be back. No worries. But I was just not trying to F with them during the pandemic, especially if I didn't know what the situation was.
Sure.
So,
and huge props to our team because they developed that process, and they really took into account, I think, what people wanted to see and did a great job, I think, in keeping themselves safe and keeping our guests safe. So I appreciate you recognizing that because I can turn the attention right back to them and our team that did an awesome job.
Yeah. Is anything different now? I mean, everything's different now, but I mean, like, what are some of the things that you think are gonna stay with? Like, I mean, you mentioned 95% or whatever, something like a large number or a large percentage of your beer on draft. Yeah. And now all those cans are in. I mean, my local in Wauwatosa has Working Draft on reg. Like, I don't know how long that's going to last, but are you going to try? Are you guys going to try to keep some of these changes as far as packaging and? I mean, is Clint just going to work his fingers raw kind of thing?
Pretty much, yeah. That's a lot of our hope is to, continue to maintain and deepen the relationships we have at wholesale that we spent a lot of time and energy cultivating during the pandemic, getting beer into Steve's Liquor, regular drops up in Milwaukee, and then also be able to service our on-premise, guests, the folks that come into the tap room. But in terms of, what that looks like, we had two new fermenters that went online in early May. We got those rocking and rolling. We wish we could put in more capacity to meet those demands. As far as
it's a wall, you just take it out and put.
Oh yeah, just move the walls. Yeah, like Minecraft, right? Just like bump, 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 bump.
I've seen it.
Skybridge to another place.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, Ryan. Yeah. I didn't know you had that in you.
I've seen my kids do it.
Exactly.
I
like I got my hand over it.
So.
I mean, the interesting thing, Chris, it's a great question. Just from that's my logistical answer. I think from like a craft, like a consumption and like a beer drinker's perspective, we saw a huge return, at least based on the data, to people going back to their core brands and like what they knew was familiar. Right? There's so much stuff that's bonkers during the pandemic, so many unknowns. And there was a significant rise, or return back to some of those standbys that you knew you could pop this beer. I'm gonna find solace in Two Women, or Two Hearted, or whatever it's gonna be. And I think that's I don't know how that's gonna play out, but I think that's gonna be an interesting impact on our industry going forward. Is seeing what is that. What does that translate to? Because there still is so much experimentation happening. But what's that mean to kind of have people wanting to come back to some of the comfort beers and things like that?
The return of the flagships, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. You said it with a question mark.
I did. Big question mark, I would say.
Yeah.
I was at Trixie's today talking to Chris Welsh, and he mentioned how his cooler has changed. Is like there used to be New Belgium here, and like Sierra used to have another whole shelf, and it has become hyper. What his word was hyper local, and you guys were a part of that, except your slots were empty.
No,
I mean, like that's the right problem to have, I guess.
I guess.
But
Yeah.
you know, like that's where it's at. Like Madison is taking over his entire cooler.
Yeah.
And I see that in Milwaukee, where the local, almost everybody who has a brewery is now canning in some degree, and there's very few that don't do that because they probably, we know there's a few that didn't make it. That ability, there's much more ability to be hyper local now than there was 16 months ago, 18 months ago. So
I'll tell you though, it's hard for a brewery our size to get beer on shelves.
Yeah.
I mean, it is expensive. It's a ton of work. It's a lot of untold hours and labor that goes into it. There's, we F up a UPC code here and there. We order not enough labels. We order too many labels. And we got the mobile canner coming in. Our friends at Carbon 4 help us package beer once or twice a month, which is incredible that they do that and make space for us. But I'll tell you, the amount of money that goes into getting a beer in a can, it's not reflected on the price on the shelf, which is kind of funny. Like draft beer is more expensive, but in ways cheaper for us to get into a glass. But cans, labels, labor, contract, mobile canning, contracting, all that stuff is just like significant amount of expenses.
I don't know. I don't want to tell any secrets or anything, but Clint mentioned when we were talking during setup that I'm not sure if it was the mobile canner or if it was one of those contract packaging arrangements, but $14 to $15 a case.
Yeah.
That's just for just to get it, just for the process.
Right.
That doesn't
That's
include any of the packaging or the labels
What?
or whatever.
What?
$14 to $15 a case.
Yeah.
That's I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the math of that's why everybody's got a tap
goes-
room,
which
right?
goes
right?
back-
Yeah, that's why
which
everybody's got a
goes
tap room.
back
Two or
to-
three.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, all of your money's made right there, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
so for those of you watching, and I've said it time and time again on other channels and stuff, if you like a place, go and support them.
Yeah, get there.
And that means get your butt off your couch and go and
Yeah, and
and
we've
support 'em.
talked on Badger Beer Hour previously about when we were in the thick of the pandemic about how important it is to support, to how much of a help it is to buy cans from the brewery out of the cooler here rather than at a liquor store, or there's that additional tier, and there's 30% at every tier. Well, that doesn't even count that part of it. I mean, which isn't to say that like draft beer is gouged. It's not that at all.
No.
But and I think we've seen the support become a thing so much more than it was like support the breweries you love. That happened during the pandemic, and I think I think that will probably continue to happen, hopefully in person.
Yeah.
Well, and this is why we see 4-packs for craft beer up into the 20s now,
16, 18, 20.
And on my channels, I'm pushing back on a lot of these things because I don't think people understand what you're saying, which is the overall and the overhead with these beers.
Sure.
Why should I pay $6 a beer in a can? Well, that's it's not as simple as you think, and part of it is pandemic economy, which is inflation, basically.
One of the other things that Chris said that was really interesting to me is that price doesn't matter anymore. Like people are not really he doesn't see people really bargain hunting anymore, or or concerned about that kind of higher end, particularly for I think
or
combination of the two.
price comparison, meaning they want what they want, so they're just going to grab it.
Yeah.
And I think we see that with some of these brands out here. I'm not going to name, but we see that.
Isn't that what we do? We name. Isn't that where?
Okay, you want
Did we start that?
Okay. You want me to? I mean, I will. So
That's fine. I understand. You can be cool.
Okay. Title. Sorry.
We don't. Oh man.
I cough. People.
Jason's like, oh my god. We're in besmirchment mode here.
So we start controversy at year one. You know.
Yeah.
Anniversary.
The training wheels are off.
Just kind of wait a little bit until we
Yeah.
got a year under our belt, and then that's.
I guess to kind of maybe cap this, like that's not anything different than most industries right now, especially coming out of the pandemic, right? Like everybody had to do what they had to do to
Absolutely true.
survive. Everybody's trying to deal with the whatever the new reality is, but also we still don't know. I mean, we're open and we're generating revenue. Are we out of the pandemic? Are we in endemic? What are these variants going to do? I mean, there's so many questions here. And again, that's where we just try to plug away, get Clint's beer out to as many people as we can through as many channels as we can, take care of our team, take care of our community, and just, that's all we can do. That's all we can control. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, we're just grateful that people buy our beer, whether it's in a pint right now over the bar or an outrageously priced 4-pack. No, we're not outrageously priced. We're fine. We're fine.
Well said. Sorry. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for
Yeah.
this wonderful host. I mean, this is so awesome.
It's our pleasure. Congratulations to you guys. Do a great job. Super entertaining, and we're happy to host you.
Yeah.
And thank you for your support.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
And when are we going to see that Chris Drosner Working Draft collab?
We're gonna get on it. And Greg, we're talking.
Oh
to
yeah,
you
sorry.
too,
We
Greg.
came up with a hot idea.
We did.
Yes.
It was real hot.
And
And
I'm here to
totally.
I'm here to remind Chris that he's going to do it.
What was the idea? I don't even remember the idea.
Do a collab with
It
Working
was something
Draft,
about
right?
your first beer. You did like.
I mean, come on.
I thought the editor. This is called the editor. I thought that was.
There it is.
I was like, hey, I feel a little slighted that it was only one barrel batch, but hey, whatever. It's great beer.
Yes, and Ryan and I, we got something working too, hopefully.
For
right?
sure.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, first.
You're the original beer band. I'm a new guy on the scene here.
All right.
Awesome. Man. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you a lot.
Cheers, man. So it's been a Badger Beer Hour and a half.
Badger beer hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's our classic. We
Yeah.
figured there'd be a little creep. on the
Well,
old
you
live
know
show
that
here.
ends up happening.
Any comments on our first year?
It went by really fast.
Yeah, for those who are here who don't know, this whole idea started with yours truly, and I reached out to these guys about doing something different as far as presenting Badger beer in a different way. We all love Chris's. I mean, I thought Chris's. Well,
Yes, that too,
Shoot.
and the beard.
well,
Yep.
his shirts are
Landon
best.
especially
The shirts. The shirts.
But,
if you want to buy any of Chris's shirts, you'll sign them. And
yeah, we need to put a logo.
yeah.
We need to slap
Yeah.
a logo on that and get it. I mean,
Yep.
come on now. What are we doing? No, we love Chris's columns. I know all of you. If you haven't seen Chris's columns, come on now. I know y'all see them. That was part of my inspiration. Part of my inspiration to get into the craft beer industry was this fella right here. So it was ultimately nice when I approached him to do this project that he was open and willing. It was wonderful. In fact, you remember I told you I didn't think you would say it. Yes. So you're like, why? And I was like, I don't know, man. Big fish, little pond. You never know what's going on.
Well,
But a year later, I enjoy working with you guys. You guys are bang up. It's great. And we have a good time doing it. And hopefully we can bring a little knowledge to people in a different way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've learned a lot about saying apparently I say a lot, which I knew.
Yeah,
but,
you do. Yeah, you do.
but I'm working on trying to be a better like presenter of the news and
Well, when you write, for a living,
Oh,
it's
dude,
it's a
it's
whole different thing.
And I can literally see you like editing what you're saying when you're talking.
That's where the ums come
That's
in.
what, right.
Yeah,
That's good,
exactly
right?
where
Yeah,
it is.
it's
the
your-
inner editor.
your-
Is like,
your
and I don't
brain
have
is-
an inner editor,
Yeah,
so
that
it just
is what
comes
the
out.
is. Yeah.
We'll do
and
it.
Andy knows that. Yeah, it's your brain breathing.
Right.
Yeah,
brain
Yeah.
breathing. Oh, my brain is very well oxidized.
a lot of
Oxidized.
oxidized. Oh man,
But no, Greg,
you should get that checked out.
I want to thank you for making this all happen because this has been a lot of fun, and I feel like it's been this is really cool that there's so many people here, and this is what it's about, is bringing beer and information and the passion of that everybody in this industry has, and you see it all the time. You see it, and I see it with everybody I talk to, that nobody's half-assing this at all.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much engagement with people who want to know more about beer. And just want to be a part of it. And I hope that this show is able to bring you in and be a part of it,
Yeah.
And obviously everybody has firsthand experience with beer in, going to the tap room and talking to the bartender, or talking with friends about it and all that stuff. But, this is we want to bring you the people that are making this beer and selling it and, bringing it to you. I think that's kind of part of the next things. But we're always looking to improve. And if you guys have ideas for the show, give us a holler. And
Yep, you can call in Texas.
I'll also be teaching Chris how to hold a microphone for next time.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Don't clap for that. What are you doing? Oh,
Baby steps.
shown up by our newest member. Look at that.
I'd also like to thank, and Chris got most of them, all of the guests that we've had through year one. A lot of big names, at least in my mind. A lot of big names in the Wisconsin craft beer world. So,
And Landon is our northern correspondent.
Northern Bureau.
Where are you from, Landon? So everybody knows.
I live in Eau Claire. Yeah, not
So-
from there,
Oh.
but I live there.
Big
Yeah.
Brewing Project fan then, obviously.
Oh, huge
the big
brewing
brewery.
project fan. I'm there a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
hmm
Every day.
It's a good brewery.
I haven't been there in a while.
We like it. Okay.
Yeah, I'd be a lot bigger if I was there a lot.
Yeah, so
Anyway,
I would say you can expect bigger things from us, given hopefully the pandemic continue. The waning continues. Doesn't feel that way, but the waning continues. We'll be out on the road more. We'll be out remotely more. One last thanks is to Chris again for pushing us to do this. This was not my idea.
You mean this, like the live one?
This was not my idea.
yeah.
No. But Chris is like, come on, it's our first anniversary. The pandemic's over. We haven't met each other because, this came together really right before the pandemic started, or when it
Yeah, a little after, I think.
or a little after,
I don't know.
or yeah.
Our first show was in July or June.
Oh,
June,
yeah.
June, I
June or
think.
July.
June or
Yeah.
July.
But me thinking about doing it was before the pandemic, so that's kind of why I'm dating myself there a little bit. But for it to come through the pandemic and for us to be able to do all this remotely, just fantastic. And again, I thank you guys for supporting. I thank you guys for
Absolutely.
having faith in me to do it, and I thank you for everything you're doing.
You bet.
Wonderful. So,
All right.
And I thank
Cheers to
you
more.
for watching, because
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
And thank you
if
for
we-
to all the people that showed up tonight.
yes,
And
Give
you
your
are-
yeah.
these are our true fans here, man. Really, though.
I'll be signing flannel shirts
Chris-
around.
Chris brought a whole trunk full of
Got a
them.
Sharpie.
He's got.
They're all blue.
All right. Until
And
next
on-
month.
And on that note, we
You guys in
will.
August?
Yes.
Oh,
What's
maybe.
who's the guest?
You
in
gonna run the
August, Chris?
credits? Don't
I'm gonna
forget
be
the
on
credits.
vacation next
Look at that.
third Wednesday.
I'm watching you,
Look at
Greg.
that.
I'm
Look at
watching you.
that. Look at that.
I made those credits especially for this show.
Yeah, and I always like, how many times do I play?